Once upon a time in the quaint city of Norfolk, I found myself entwined in the cold, unfeeling embrace of the Eastern Virginia Medical School. Oh, how I wish my journey had been one of healing and care, but alas, it was a tale of woe, a saga of sorrow that weighs heavily upon my heart even as I pen these words. It began on a day like any other, under the guise of routine checkups and the promise of medical expertise. But as I crossed the threshold of this supposed sanctuary of health, I was met with a visage most peculiar. Dr. Spiegel, a physician with a penchant for theatrics, greeted me with facial expressions so bizarre. One might think he stepped straight out of a Roald Dahl nightmare, insisting on discussing Charlie and the chocolate factory rather than my ailing flesh. As I navigated through the labyrinthine corridors of Eastern Virginia Medical School, Norfolk, I encountered the enigmatic Dr. Kwon, a beacon of competence in a sea of ineptitude. Yet even his brilliance was overshadowed by the intake workers, those gatekeepers of bureaucracy, who, in their infinite wisdom, failed to grasp the simplest of instructions. I requested but a copy of a prescription, yet they bestowed upon me the entirety of my medical history, a tome as unwieldy as it was unnecessary. The nurses, angels in white, fluttered about with grace and efficiency, yet their efforts were marred by the administrative personnel, minions of chaos, who seemed to revel in the art of confusion and disarray. Time and again, I was subjected to the capricious whims of an establishment that demanded my presence with the punctuality of a clockwork soldier, yet failed to acknowledge my existence when I arrived, punctual and patient, a soul adrift in a sea of neglect. The maternity centre, a place that should have been filled with the laughter of new beginnings, was instead shrouded in a darkness that suffocated the very spirit of life. The atmosphere was so dour, so devoid of joy, that even the sturdiest of hearts could not help but falter. The wait times, oh, the wait times were a cruel jest. A reminder that at Eastern Virginia Medical School, Norfolk, time itself seemed to conspire against us, the hapless patients who dared to hope for care and compassion. I recall with vivid clarity the tale of a damsel in her final trimester, a high-risk pregnancy that should have been treated with the utmost delicacy and urgency. Yet, the powers that be at this ill-fated institution played a game of chance with her life, and that of her unborn child. Appointments were missed, lab results lost, and the very essence of her being was reduced to a series of numbers and charts, her humanity forgotten amidst the chaos. The physical pain was but a mere fraction of the torment that this place so callously inflicted. The emotional toll, the fear, the uncertainty, it was a tempest that raged within the confines of my mind, a relentless storm that offered no respite, no moment of peace. The heart monitor, a cruel reminder of the fragility of life, beat in tandem with my own, a metronome counting down the moments until the next wave of despair would crash upon the shores of my existence. And then there was the saga of the video appointments, a farce of epic proportions, where the digital realm became a battleground of technical incompetence and human disconnection. I waited ever so patiently in a virtual waiting room, a purgatory of pixels and promises, only to be met with silence and indifference. The computer, a heartless sentinel.
Businesses near Eastern Virginia Medical School, Norfolk, feel like a practical joke the city forgot to cancel. If you picture a place where wallets open but smiles stay closed, you have the right postcard. Everything here promises charm, then coughs up disappointment like a slot machine that never pays out. I walked in expecting Norfolk's friendly wink. I left feeling the town had pickpocketed my hope and left me the receipt. Let me tell you how it really plays out, starting with the closest thing they still call a mall. Shopping malls near the medical school are basically tall, air-conditioned ghosts. MacArthur Center is the superstar of that haunted tour, 3 floors of shiny floors with almost nothing on them. Visitors drive into a parking deck that charges money just to show you empty storefronts behind roller gates and billowing tarps. Escalators run like they are practicing for crowds that never appear, while a handful of surviving kiosks sell phone cases to the echo. One guest watched a woman get hassled on the escalator by someone who looked like he had nowhere else to be, but trouble security was somewhere between invisible and mythical. Another reviewer said the only working elevator had been broken for over a year, so if you hate stairs, bring a parachute. Even the pigeons look bored, and they usually approve of anything with crumbs. Need a calming massage after that emptiness? Spas here feel invented by someone who skimmed a brochure and skipped the training. Flowering almond spa dresses the part, robes, slippers, whale music, but the experience unravels faster than cheap toilet paper. Guests book a 50-minute rub and find themselves back in the lobby 10 minutes early, wondering if time itself scampered off the clock. Deep tissue upgrades arrive with the pressure of a handshake from a sleepy grandparent. One woman's reflexology never reached her feet. The therapist basically petted her arms like a cat and vanished. Another client got marched to the treatment room, then told, "Actually, we can't serve you," as if the spa itself had stage fright. Robes smell like they dried in a gym bag, and the front desk can't find your Groupon, your gift card, or apparently your existence. When complaints crawl in, management offers a partial credit, the universal signal for "we know we goofed, but we'd still like some money." Hungry, the restaurants romancing the medical school district cook up regret with a side of sticker shock. Take Omar's Carriage House, where the building is historic but the welcome is prehistoric. They will seat you in an outdoor tent when it is 45 degrees out, swear the inside is fully booked, then leave half the dining room empty so the tables can enjoy each other's company. Entrees parade out lukewarm, like the kitchen mailed them in from another state. One birthday guest bit into duck that tasted as if it had been reheated 3 times and apologized each time. A vegetarian paid $20 for what the menu called roasted cauliflower steak and received a gray, boiled brain floating in drizzle. Even the cauliflower looked embarrassed. Brides thought they hired elegance for their big day, only to watch guests pay cash at a bar that was supposed to be open, while the happy couple discovered the meaning of tiny print: nightlife. Music venues near campus double as social experiments gone wrong. The Norva books great bands, then treats fans like cattle that decided to mosh for sport. Security guards guard almost nothing when fists fly. Staff suddenly remember they left their authority in another jacket. Shows sell far more tickets than physics allow, so shoulders become seatbacks and personal space becomes folklore. Women report being yanked by the hair, only to be escorted out for the crime of objecting. The upstairs bar feels like a sauna someone forgot to vent, while blinding lights aim straight into retinas as if the building is scanning souls.
One attendee paid $50 for karaoke that never let him on. Stage management answered complaints with the digital version of a shrug, craving a civilized drink beside a piano. Gershwin's piano bar dresses itself in bow-tie wallpaper and tuxedo napkins, then springs service charges on you like pop quizzes. They tack 18% onto parties of 3 at the bar, hoping you won't notice the math exam on the receipt. Cocktails arrive after a 2-act drama. First you wait, then you watch the bartender set a glass under a smoking cloche and disappear for 20 minutes, as though the bourbon needs to graduate before it meets you. Food follows the same suspense novel theme. Caesar salads show up brown and limp, yet management insists the magic ingredient.
Businesses near Eastern Virginia Medical School, Norfolk, they can be tricky sometimes. Like tourists think they raid just buying snacks or gifts, but then boom, scams happen. Like those 4 guys who got arrested for buying gift cards with stolen credit cards at Wawa stores. Can you believe it? They just walked in, used fake cards, and left like nothing happened. But police caught them in a Ford car. I bet those tourists who lost their card info felt so stupid, like how did this happen? And now those guys are stuck in jail, no bond, nothing. Serves them right, And then there's this woman, Lori Ann Talens, who made fake coupons. Like she printed them